Hey, what up, y'all? Mr. Cruz here, the littest teacher you never had, back with another tutorial video for you guys. Today, we are going to go through the physical and the synth drum modules in Kong Drum Designer. Now, the reason I'm putting both of these two together, the physical and the synth ones together, is a lot of the features, a lot of the parameters and the customization of it are all very similar or essentially the same. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time delving into each individual unit. I'm just going to show you a few things that they do and explain some of the parameters. But essentially, they're all the same. So if you understand one of them, you're going to understand the rest of them pretty easily. There's just going to be a few key things that differentiate some of the modules from each other that we will delve a little bit deeper into. But outside of that, this video is going to be a lot shorter than the last couple ones, but let's get into it. All right, so for starters, we got the physical. So you can't see it, but for the sake of this, I got my MIDI controller here next to it so that you can so I can hit these pads easily. So we have the bass drum. So for the physical ones, we have the bass drum, we have the snare drum, and we have the tom-tom drum. With all of these, with the physical ones, there are 4 different parameters that you can automate, and I have those highlighted. So it's pitch, damp. My bad. That's that chicken tender I ate earlier. We got pitch, damp, decay, and the level of each one of these individual drum modules that you can automate. The rest of the parameters that you see in there, you cannot automate. And I think that goes for tone. I would figure that tone you could. So they're different in the synth ones. But most of them are the same. So with these drum modules, when you're editing them, so we'll see tune. Ooh, I like that. With these drum modules, I'm not a drummer, so I've never played drums in my life, but a lot of my good friends do play drums, and I've done enough sets with them that I understand a little bit of the physical components that go with a drum module, or sorry, that go with the drum, and what the good people at Recent Studios were trying to emulate when they created this little mini plugin, a little mini rack extension. All right, guys, freaking get over it. With this, you have, in an actual physical drum, you have what's called tension screws. And when you adjust these tension screws, so based off of whether you tighten it or you loosen it, you'll get a different type of tone, or you can tune the drums differently. So essentially what it means that it's a big complicated explanation for saying that these individual knobs try to mimic the process of tightening or loosening those screws on an actual drum set, or kick drum, snare drum, whatever, that alters the sound or the harmonics of that instrument in some way, shape, or form. So this is why you can get these tune knobs and get those different sounds, because that's what it's trying to emulate. You also can control the level of the beater, the little hammer that kicks the drum, that hits the drum, that causes it to have that sound. And then as far as dampening goes, if I'm not mistaken, this is in part, like if you've ever seen a drum set or somebody playing the drums in real life, and sometimes they'll have some sort of fabric, like a pillow or some sweatshirts or stuff stuffed inside of the drum head, the bass drum, in order to dampen or to soften the sound. So that's what that is essentially trying to emulate. I say essentially a lot. I need some new words. All right, so we see the same thing with the snare drum. So the snare drum, out of all the physical ones, it's the only one that has a different hit type. So it gives you a little bit of different positions as far as when you strike it. I have noticed that position 2 and 3 don't really sound that different to me. Well, I mean that they don't sound that different than center. To me, center and edge, those have a very distinct difference when it comes to the harmonics of it. So that's the only one out of all the physical ones that have a different type of hit type. And then you have your tom drums. So your tom drums, those don't have, well, this one you can control the level of the tension. Yeah. So the bottom, no, the snare drum is the only one that doesn't include the actual percussive sound of the sticks when you hit them, but the tom drums do. So the tom drum and the kick drum include some way to control the level of the instrument that hits. I guess it would be an instrument, whatever is striking the instrument, versus the snare, which does not include like the actual sticks. All right, so moving on to our synth ones. Out of all the synth ones, the kick, the bass drum, is the one that I have used before. I don't use it very often. I probably should, because it would save me a lot of time from looking through samples to find the right sound versus either layering it with a sound that I've created myself or just creating the sound. I guess the thing for me is that I'm a little bit too intimidated with sound design to feel like I understand it well enough to be able to create specifically the sound that I'm looking for. So again, with bass, we have the bass drum. Ooh, so you want to get your Daft Punk on. All right, you got your hi-hats, you have your snare, and then you have your tom drum as well. With these, the hi-hat is the only one that has a different hit type, and its hit type is either closed, semi-open, or open. What is interesting about this is I feel kind of they should have included a gate with this as well, because when you hit, right, I would want to hit and then release it to kind of cut or to close that hi-hat. But I've kind of figured out a little workaround. So that's why I left drum module number 4 open, or drum pad number 4 open. I'm going to create a mute group with these two. And now I can see. So if I hit it by itself, wait, let me see, make sure I got it. If I hit it by itself, it has that long drawn out fade, but I want to cut that off. So I hit it and then I hit pad number 4 whenever I want to cut it off. See, so that's kind of a little workaround from the lack of it having a gate. But anyways, you can do whatever you want. These, however, unlike the physical drum modules, which has all the same parameters that you can automate. Sorry, you can hear I forgot I left that window open. Heard that car driving by. You can, with the physical drum modules, there are 4 different parameters that you can automate all of those each of the physical drum modules have the same parameters that you can automate. With the synth ones, they're different. So with the kick, you can, and I highlighted them in green so that, or essentially, there I go saying essentially again. I purposefully set them to automation so that you can see which one. So on the bass, we have pitch, tone, decay, and the level. On all of them, you're going to be able to change the level and you're going to be able to change the pitch. It's either the tone and the decay in this one. On our hi-hat, you can change the decay, or you can change the ring instead of the tone. It does not have you cannot automate the tone as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you can't automate the tone. On our snare, you can automate the decay of the noise, but you can't automate the tone of the noise. Right, there's that one, but you have this tone up here, but you can't automate this tone up here either. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. I guess you could technically create a tone here, and then all right, so that works. Oh, whoa, no. No. Well, that was stupid of me, and I was almost done, and so we're just going to pick up where we left off. All right. So what I was trying to show is that as a workaround to the synth snare, the fact that you cannot automate the tone neither in the drum module nor in the global parameters, I was saying that a workaround is that you can have your tone generator effect, and then you can automate the pitch in the tone generator effect. You can automate some of these parameters here. So that would kind of be a little way to circumvent that. Dang, I feel real dumb about that, yo. Like, it was just happening so fast. And then lastly, you have your tom-tom drum. And then again, you have your pitch, decay, level, and the noise mix as far as this one is concerned. You cannot automate any other parameters. That's weird how for the synth modules, the parameters are different than they are in the physical one, but I guess in a sense, in a way, it makes sense because those are the parameters that you would want to alter when it comes to sound designing synth drums. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys today. hopefully that's something useful. And again, the physical and the synth drum modules, a lot of them are the same. So if you understand and you practice with one of them, you're going to be able to understand the rest of them pretty easily. Next time though, I got a dope tutorial for you guys for the Nurse Rex loop. The Nurse Rex drum module. And if you've seen my other video of the Kong that I did on the Kong drum pad settings, or the Kong pad settings, I did go into detail on that one. So if you've seen that one, you're not necessarily going to need to see the Nurse Rex one, but the Nurse Rex one, I'm just pretty much going to take what I did in that video and then make it its own video as far as the Nurse Rex is concerned. But anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if there are any other features about Kong Drum Designer that you would like to see. I would go into maybe sometime in the future we'll go into the effects and whatnot, and I'll go into the routing because the routing is super complex, way more complex than it needs to be. But for now, we're going to be done with the Kong Drum Designer and we'll move on to a different rack extension. All right, Mr. Cruz out.